Hello everyone, I hope everybody is staying at home and staying safe. So, this is the first class of biology after your test. The topic which we are going to study today, that is kingdom Plantae. So, the classification of the living world was given by Carolus Linnaeus for the first time. This we have learned before. He said that there are two kingdoms in the living world. First is kingdom Plantae and second one is kingdom Animalia. But afterwards, this classification was rectified by R.H. Whittaker, and he suggested that there are 5 kingdoms in the living world. The first one is kingdom Monera, second is kingdom Protista, third is kingdom Fungi, next is kingdom Plantae, and the last one is kingdom Animalia. So the first one, kingdom Monera. Kingdom Monera constitutes of unicellular prokaryotic living organisms, and examples are bacteria, cyanobacteria, which is also known as blue-green algae. So the unicellular, they are unicellular means it means they are made up of only one cell. They are prokaryotic means their nucleus is not enclosed inside the nuclear membrane. Second, that is kingdom Protista. Kingdom Protista consists of amoeba, paramecium, plasmodium, euglena. They all are unicellular means they are also made up of one cell. They are eukaryotic means their nucleus is enclosed inside the nuclear envelope. So the next one is kingdom Fungi. Kingdom Fungi constitutes of multicellular eukaryotic living organisms which look like plant but they are not other plants. They are multicellular means they are made up of more than one cell. They are eukaryotic matlab they have the advanced type of nucleus. Their nucleus is enclosed in the nuclear membrane. They are the plants, but they are not the plants, but they look like plants. They do not have chlorophyll. They are not green in color, so they are heterotrophic in nature. They depend on other living or dead organism for their food. So the next kingdom, these 3 kingdoms, that is kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, we have already read. But now we are going to begin with kingdom Plantae. By the plant only you can recognize that in the kingdom Plantae, we are going to study about the plants. Kingdom Plantae consists of the plants. We all must have seen the plants. Plants are green in color because they have green color pigment in them, which is called as chlorophyll, which has a tendency to trap the sunlight. As they can trap the sunlight, they are able to prepare their own food by the help of water, sun, and air, that is carbon dioxide. These plants have the cell wall. The cells of the plant have the cell wall which is made up of cellulose. Cellulose is a kind of a carbohydrate like the glucose, so which provides support to their cells. The plants can prepare their own food, so they are autotrophs. They can photosynthesize their food. After this, the plants can bear the flowers. Plants bear fruits. Plants have stem. Plants have roots. Plants have leaves. But some plants are there in the world which do not show root, stem or leaf, or their body part is not distinguished into root, stem and leaf. So we don't consider them to be a plant, but they are the plants which we see around us. So some plants are there which produce seeds, and some plants are there which do not produce seed. So according to the presence or the absence of the seed in the plant, plants have been classified into 2 groups. One is the flowering plant and second one is the non-flowering plant. The flowering plant, we see that around us which have the flowers, which have the fruit, but other than those, some others are the flowering plant which do not produce flowers but they produce seeds. While non-flowering plant are not so easily visible, but they are present in the living world. So non-flowering plant have been categorized into 3 parts, that is Thallophyta, Bryophyta and Teratophyta. Non-flowering plants are also called as cryptogams. They are called as cryptogams because they do not have special male and female reproductive organ. So their reproduction is of hidden type. That is why they are called as cryptogams. These non-flowering plants do not produce fruit, flowers and seeds. So In the non-flowering plant, the first type, that is the Thallophyta. Thallophyta means thallus or plate-like body. They are the most simplest plant present in the world. And these thallophytes do not have root, stem or leaf. Their body is not divided into root, stem and leaf. So, do we have seen the thallophytes? Yes, absolutely. We all have seen the thallophytes around us, and they are no one other than algae. Algae are the thallophytes which we see around us, growing on the ponds, in the lakes. Most of the algae grow in the stagnant water. Some algae grow in the flowing water also, like oceans and in seas. So this algae, the common algae which we see around us, that are the green algae which grow on the stagnant water, while the algae which grow in the oceans and in the lakes, they are the algae like brown and the red algae. So there are three types of the algae: green, red and brown. The green algae is commonly seen everywhere around us. On the we must have seen on the surface of the pond the algae is growing, which is slippery or slimy in nature. That is a green algae. But the algae which grows in the ocean, that is the brown algae, mostly the brown algae, which are also called as scalps, and they are also utilized as a food by the Chinese and the Japanese. So these algae, which are the brown algae, they are also called as scalps, and they are the largest growing plant in the world, as they can grow up to the height of 60 to 100 meters. These algae have chlorophyll in them and they can prepare their own food, so they are autotrophic in nature. After this, some algae are unicellular, which are not visible. They are found in the lakes, they are found in the ponds, and they are also found in the drainage water, like Chlamydomonas. Chlamydomonas is a unicellular algae which grows in the places where the stagnant water is there or water is still. While the other one, that is the Spirogyra. Spirogyra is a multicellular algae. Multicellular means they are made up of more than one cell. This algae, mostly which we see in the pond and the lake, which is slimy, that is Spirogyra only. Some algae are colonial. They are unicellular, but they are colonial. Colonial means they are going to grow in group. So the colonial algae is the volvox. Volvox also grow in the stagnant water, but it is colonial. It grows in the colonies. So after the thallophytes, we are coming on to the bryophytes. The bryophytes are also the thallophytes. They are the plant which don't grow in the water, they grow outside the water. So there are two types of the thallophytes. One is the algae and second one is the bryophyte. So the bryophyta are the plant which grow outside the water next to the river bank or the places where there is large amount of the moisture retained. So the bryophytes are also called as amphibians of the plant kingdom. The bryophytes are called as amphibians of the plant kingdom, or they are also called as mosses. These bryophytes are called as amphibians because they grow in the shady areas. They grow on the moist walls. They grow onto the places where moisture is present. They also grow onto the side of the river banks. So they are called as the amphibians of the plant kingdom, as they cannot live without the moisture or without the water. Bryophytes' body is not distinguished into root, stem and leaf. So they also have flat plate-like body. You can see the picture of these bryophytes. The first one is the moss, second one is the liverwort. They also have flat body. See this mosses, they are growing onto the surface of the rocks. See this liverwort that is growing onto the surface of the bark of the tree. So they are also they also have the flat-like body, and their plant body is not distinguished into root, stem and leaf. These bryophytes have small thread-like structures which are not roots, but they are like roots. They are called as rhizoids. These rhizoids help these bryophytes to stick onto the surface, to anchor their plant body into the surface of the rock or onto the surface of the plant, and they also help in absorbing the mineral and nutrients from the surface of the ground. So these bryophytes have small thread-like structures, which are the rhizoids. Next are the pteridophytes. Pteridophytes are also called as ferns, and these are the first vascular plant developed in the world. Pteridophytes are the ferns because they have fan-like leaves. Because of the presence of fan-like leaves, these pteridophytes are called as ferns. Pteridophytes have two examples, the Bryopteris and the Equisetum. The Bryopteris, you can see the picture of the Bryopteris, the leaves are like fan, so they are the ferns. The second one is the horsetail, which is also called as Equisetum. This Equisetum looks like the tail of a horse, that is why it is called as horsetail. These pteridophytes have distinguished root, stem and leaf. As they have root, stem and leaf, so they also needed some transportation material for the transportation of water and nutrients in them. So they have vascular system developed in them. Vascular system means the xylem and the phloem. So for the first time, xylem and the phloem were visible in the pteridophytes. Pteridophytes do not bear flowers and they do not bear seeds. So pteridophytes reproduce by the formation of spores onto the surface of the leaf of the pteridophyte. There are brown color structures which are called as surae. These surae grow, mature, and surae consist of spores. When the spores get matured, they fall down from the surae onto the soil and grow into a new plant. The spores which grow into the soil, they grow into the new plant. So they are like the seeds, but they are not actually the seeds. After this, in the pteridophytes, stem is present, in the pteridophyte leaf is there, and the pteridophyte roots are there. But the stem of the pteridophytes grow under the ground. So that is why the stem of the pteridophyte is called as rhizome. So this was the end of the non-flowering plants. Non-flowering plants were of three types. First, algae. Second is the bryophyta. Third are the pteridophyta. Algae was a part of thallophytes. All the non-flowering plants do not produce seeds and they do not produce flowers. The algae and the bryophytes, their body was plate-like. Their body is not distinguished into root, stem and leaf. Algae grow into the water while bryophytes grow next to the surface river banks, onto the moist areas, in the shady places or on the moist walls. Bryophytes are called as amphibians of the plant kingdom because they cannot survive without water. In the bryophytes, small thread-like structures are there which help them to absorb mineral and nutrient from the surface of the ground. Pteridophytes are called as ferns because they are fan-like leaves. The stem of the pteridophyte are called as rhizome because they are underground. The pteridophyte are the first vascular plants as they have first xylem and phloem developed in it. Pteridophyte reproduce by the formation of spores. So these were the non-flowering plant. Now we are coming on to the flowering plant. Flowering plant have been categorized into two groups. One are the gymnosperms, second are the angiosperms. The flowering plant are of two types, gymno and angiosperms. The flowering plant are also called as phanerogams. Flowering plant are called as phanerogams because they have stem, they have leaves, and they grow fruit, flowers and seed. As they grow fruit, flowers and seed, they are called as phanerogams. Like flowering plants only, non-flowering plants are also called as cryptogams. Non-flowering plants are called as cryptogams because they don't have any special male or female organ. As they don't have special male and female organ, that is why they are called as cryptogams. Flowering plant are called as phanerogams because they have fruit, flowers and seed. So the first type of the flowering plant is the gymnosperm. Gymnosperms have naked seeded plant. They are called as naked seeded plant because they do not bear fruit and flower. Their seeds grow onto the surface of a hard woody structure called as cones. That is why they are called as naked seeded plants. Gymnosperms, you must have seen. Gymnosperms grow are the plants which grow onto the mountainous area, on the hilly areas. If anybody has visited the area like Nainital or Mussoorie or Shimla, must have seen the plants growing there. They are the gymnosperms, which have needle shaped leaves. All the gymnosperms have needle shaped leaves because the gymnosperms grow mostly onto the hilly areas where there is a scarcity of water, so as to prevent the loss of water by transpiration, so as to conserve the water. Their leaves are modified into needle shaped. Gymnosperms also are known as evergreen plants because they don't shed their leaves at once. They look evergreen all throughout the year. That is why they are called as evergreen plant. They don't shed all their leaves at one time. After this, in the gymnosperms, there are hard bony structures which are called as cones, and those cones bear ovules. Those ovules are modified into seeds, as you can see this picture. See, this yellow color structure over here, this yellow structure is a male cone, while this pink structure is the female cone. They are the cones of the gymnosperms, in which these cones bears ovules in it inside, and the ovules inside it get matured into seed and fall down and grow into a new plant. These gymnosperms are found in the hilly areas, and the example is cycas, pinus, ginkgo, juniper, etc. You must have also eaten the chilgoza. Chilgoza is the nut produced by the gymnosperms only. Actually, that is the ovule produced or the seed produced by these gymnosperms. Now we are coming on to the next category of the flowering plant. The next category of the flowering plant is the angiosperms. Angiosperms are the most abundant plants found in the world. Angiosperms bear true flowers, true seed, and true root. Their body is distinguished into root, stem, and leaf, and they also bear flower. Flower consists of the ovules present in it. Flowers have the ovule. You must have read in class 6 that in the flowers pollination takes place. So after the pollination, as flowers is the reproductive organ, flower consists of gynoecium and the endoecium. So after pollination, the female part of a flower, which is called ovary matures and develops into fruit, and inside the ovary there are the ovules get matured into seed. So in the angiosperm, flower consists of ovary matures into fruit, while ovules inside the ovary matures into seed. Seeds have embryo present in it, which after germination grows into a new plant, and seeds have the cotyledons present in it. Cotyledons are the parts of a seed which store food for the seed. As we all know, seeds are not green in color, so they can't photosynthesize their food. So as to provide food to the embryo, so as to provide food to the growing embryo into a new plant, seeds have cotyledons in it which already store the food for the growing embryo. So according to the presence of the cotyledon, seeds are divided into two types, that is monocotyledonous and dicotyledonous. Monocotyledonous and the dicotyledonous seed. Monocot seeds are those seeds which have only one cotyledon. These are those seeds which cannot be split into two parts from between, while dicotyledonous seeds have two cotyledons, means these seeds can be split into two parts easily. I have some gram seeds with me. These are the gram seed. You can see it. These gram seeds, you can see there is a line in between. These seeds can be divided into two parts easily from the center. See, this gram seed can be divided into two parts easily, right? So as you can see over here, This is the first cotyledon, this is the second cotyledon. There are two cotyledons in the seed. So this is a dicotyledonous seed. I have some maize seeds in my hand. These are the maize seeds in my hand. See, you cannot see any line in between. It means it cannot be divided into two parts from anywhere. Cannot be divided. So this is the monocot seed. It has only one cotyledon. This is the cotyledon of the seed. This has only one cotyledon, while the gram seed has two cotyledon. The gram seed and the maize seed. The gram seed has two cotyledons. It has been divided in two, but maize seed has not been divided. It has only one cotyledon. So maize is a monocot seed, while gram is a dicot seed. So the monocot seeds are the maize seed, the wheat, the rice. They all are monocot seed because they cannot be divided into two parts. While the bean, the pea, the gram, the pulses, and after that the peanut, they all are dicot seed because they can be divided into two parts easily. After this was the topic about the fruits and the flowers. We have seen the flowers, we have seen the fruits and all, right? But when we talk about the sugarcane, but when we talk about the money plant, mint, we cannot see the flowers in them, we cannot see the seeds in them. So why they are also the angiosperms? As we know, they are the angiosperms. They are the plants growing around us. They are the angiosperms, but they don't grow fruit and flowers. So how we consider them to be angiosperms? Actually, these plants like sugarcane, like mint, they are used by the human beings before they get matured and produce flowers. That is why they are not able to produce the flowers. But and second reason is this also, that these flowers, these plants grow flowers, seeds, but they can be grown easily by their body parts also. They can be grown easily by the vegetative parts also. So that is why they are the plants which are utilized before they grow their flowers, but they also grow the flowers. So they are also considered to be the angiosperm. Like if we talk about the money plant, in the money plant we cannot see the flowers. They also grow flowers, but we are not able to see them. They are so immature type, and they are like they are of green color only, and they look like the stem or the birds of the plant. So they are not so visible, clearly visible. So money plant can be grown easily by the help of the stems only. So they are the angiosperms. Like if you talk about the ginger can be grown by putting the piece of a ginger inside the soil, and next other parts of the gingers grow as it is a stem. So it can be grown easily by its vegetative part. So the flowers and the seeds are not required in these plants. In the onion also grow flowers, onion also grows seeds, but the onion can be grown into a second new part by the putting onion inside the soil. You must have seen the potatoes. When they get matured, some white color structure appear on it. Those white color structures are the roots of those potatoes, and these are the birds of the potato from where the newer plant grows. So they don't need seed, they don't need flower, but they also grow when the plant of these potato, ginger, onion matures. They also grow the flowers, but actually their seeds are not required for their growth. They can be easily grown by their vegetative parts. So now the conclusion of this chapter is that angiosperms bear fruit, flowers and seeds, while gymnosperms bear seeds but do not bear fruits and flowers. So now we have come out to the end of the topic. The top topic has been completed. You will be given assignment based on this particular topic. If you people have any query, any confusion regarding this, you can come to it on my portal and get your queries cleared. Thank you so much, and stay safe at home.